But we're going to now talk to Luke Walker, who's the General Manager of the casino. And recently the Adelaide Casino announced transforming their property and investing over $330 million to expand the whole area, including a new hotel, etc. And I wanted to hear more about it. And good afternoon, Luke, and welcome to the program.
Good afternoon, Rilke. Good afternoon, listeners.
And what a beautiful sunny day it is. What a blessing.
Really enjoying Adelaide with the weather like this, that's for sure.
Yes, it is. Now, you and I have met a few months ago at a lunch, and both of us had spent a long time living in Melbourne, and both you've come to Adelaide for the first time 6 months ago with your family. I've returned. What made you say yes to the job first?
I think there's two key components. Certainly the expansion that we're about to talk about, and then also the existing building and the master planning that we're doing for the existing building. And I guess we're going to cover that in a few minutes' time as well. So two fantastic challenges ahead of us.
It's a beautiful old building. I remember when the casino was first touted in that site, the old railway station, and in fact it had a ballroom in it, the old railway station, and there was a sports journalist back in the early 80s who had his wedding reception in that old site before it became the casino. So it was a very unusual building, and it's been beautiful. But part of the redevelopment and the new component, you are also allocating funds to the remodelling of the existing building.
That's correct. There's allocated funds within the budget to remodel the existing casino, including, I guess, bringing it back to its halcyon days in terms of how it looked within the historic railway station. It's got a special character. We want to protect that. And so we're looking at redesigning the interiors, the social entertainment spaces, relocating some restaurants and bars. I guess most importantly within the existing building, we're looking at creating Adelaide's best sports bar. And it's interesting you touched on the old Governor's Ballroom, and I wasn't aware of that story that you just mentioned, but we're looking at having a really upmarket sports bar down in the Governor's Ballroom, which hasn't been used for a long time. In fact, it's been a poker machine storage area in the time that I've been there, so it'll be great to bring it back to its
glory.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, how sad that that's what it's used for now, because it must have been an extraordinary building or, room of its day. And it'd be beautiful to see it come back to light. You're a Melbourne man. In the Myer building on the 5th floor, when they redeveloped that whole building, they then took back the mural room back to its glory days, and where after high tea is now served, etc. And it's wonderful to recreate some of that history that we seem to lose over a period of time.
Absolutely, it is, and we're looking at that's one of the key features of this upmarket sports bar that we're creating, is to bring back all of those heritage features that haven't seen the light of day for a decade or more, if not further than that. And then we're also looking at how we interface with Station Road and creating the great work on Peeley and Bank Streets and creating our own station lane. So expanding Sean's Kitchen. We'll have a pop-up champagne bar, and then into the Barossa, what will be the bar and grill as opposed to the current cafe. So there's going to be a really nice laneway along there. And we're also within the existing building, while we're on that, the North Terrace interface of our building doesn't present in a way that I think anyone's proud of at the moment. Certainly not us at the casino, but I wouldn't imagine Adelaideans are proud of it either. So we're looking at bringing it back to its former glory as well. And I think if you look at the cathedral and the way it presents, I get quite jealous at that, because that presents amazingly. And it'd be nice to have us lit up with that as well. And that means taking off all the signage and giving it a nice clean skin as well. So certainly lots of time and resource being allocated to the existing building. But I guess you'd like to hear a bit more about the expansion as well.
I would, but I also would like to know that one thing that the casino is part of that whole Riverbank precinct, and it's so exciting that this is being done at the same time as the Festival Plaza redevelopment and the forecourt, because it's such a great connection will be a great connection. But you're also building a hotel. Where will that be accessed from?
Yeah, so immediately north of the existing building is where the new hotel will interface, and there's some state government works going on there at the moment called the Early Works, and basically what they're doing is a grade separation between the pedestrian crossing from the Oval and Festival Drive. So Festival Drive will go down under the pedestrian crossing. So they've been in there doing those works for a few months now, and we've actually taken the opportunity to put our pilings in there. So straight above where you've seen those cranes in between us and the Playhouse is where the new hotel will go.
Which is going to be fantastic, again, for that whole precinct, because from Parliament House right through to the West End where the new RA is, that North Terrace precinct, and particularly facing onto the river, is really coming to its own and creating a complete entertainment package almost, whether it be hotels, restaurants, gaming, the convention centre. It really allows for international and interstate tourists, or even people from intrastate, to come and explore what you're going to be developing.
Absolutely. It's once in a lifetime. There's literally billions of dollars being spent there. If you think, working from one end to the other, if you think of the Walker Corporation's office tower with the retail that will be attached to it, and we actually get 750 car parking spots out of that. And then there's the renovated Festival Theatre, which is an amazing facility. You've got the Playhouse, the Intercon, and then you go to the Convention Centre, which has just opened its amazing new East Wing. And then you go down into the medical precinct, and on the other side of the river is probably the most fantastic facility of the lot in the Adelaide Oval, which is world class.
And that really has brought, for all the people's criticisms and people trying to be critical of it, it has turned out to be such an extraordinarily popular, successful, and has really revitalised that side of the city, hasn't it? The Adelaide Oval has been extraordinary for South Australia.
Yeah, absolutely. And from someone who is relatively recent to the town, I think it's an extraordinary facility that everyone should be proud of. And I guess that's why our group has seen fit to invest $330 million of private money into that precinct. The majority of the spend that's gone in has been the state government, and our board is very, very confident that spending $330 million in that precinct will give the return that we need. And the key component of that spend is 123-room all-suite luxury hotel, and you're talking about a level that certainly Adelaide hasn't seen before. We've got standard suites that are going to be 50 square metres, and that's bigger than my one-bedroom flat when I moved out of home. So they're really, really big suites. And then you go
I was just going to say, it's unusual for a hotel to be all-suite, but it is such a lovely thing checking into a hotel room that is a suite, because it gives you so much more space. You feel so much more relaxed. You're not sitting on the bed to actually have your coffee or your breakfast. You can have a sofa. You've got a separate room. You can have a business meeting. It's such a clever concept in having it all suites. Is that because you saw the demand from international and interstate customers wanting that sort of level of accommodation?
Absolutely. I think there'll also be some regional and some Adelaideans that will use it as well. In fact, I'm sure there will be, but definitely interstate and international demand. I mean, there's the tourist boom that's coming in Adelaide, and we see ourselves as being a big part of that. And at the moment, Adelaide doesn't offer the level of accommodation that we're going to create, and that's no disrespect to the fantastic offers that are in Adelaide. We've got a niche or a segment that we think we can pitch to that it's above that. And you're right about checking into a suite. It gives you a different experience to what you'd normally have, and even if it's only on a very rare occasion, I think it's something that we do cherish. And those 100 rooms that I mentioned that are the king suites that are 50 square metres, we also have 24 corner suites which are double that size. They're coming in at around 100 square metres, so they're quite big rooms. They can be converted to two-bedroom when needed. And then we also have a hero suite which will be on the second top level, which is over 200 square metres, proper two-bedroom villa. It's massive. And I guess that'll be for celebrities. That'll be people like Adele, Ed Sheeran, Rilke Walbenoff will stay in.
I will keep you. I will make sure of that. I'll take advantage of that call.
I've just declared it publicly, haven't I? So
yes, you have, absolutely. Luke, one of the things that always with these projects, because this has been on the cards for quite some time. There's been talk over the last few years about the casino taking this step and making the upgrade, but you've got it over the line with your stakeholders and with your board and that sort of thing. And I think one of the other things that's really important, this is private company money. It's not funded by the government, so it is the Adelaide Casino Company being confident about the future of South Australia. How long is it all going to take? When are we going to see some of the impact for the consumer, and when are some of these new lanes and restaurants going to open?
Yeah, so we've got the early works going on at the moment, and we're about to go to tender for a head contractor, and they'll start on the site once those early works are finished. So that'll be probably February or March next year. You'll see them on site working, and it's about a 27-month build. So we're looking at July 2020, maybe August at worst, to have everything open, and that'll be the 123 hotel rooms, but also we're going to add 3 signature restaurants. So if you think of Sean's Kitchen and Madame Hanoi as our best offerings at the moment, we're going to add 3 more to that portfolio of that standard. There's also some really high-end beverage offerings as well, including a rooftop bar that will look across at the Adelaide Oval, the Cathedral, and along the Torrens River. So that'll all come online mid-July 2020, Rilke.
Yes, which when you say it sounds like a long time, but it's actually a blink of an eye, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. All the hard work's being done at the moment with the piles in the ground. So once we get going after Christmas, you'll see it come up pretty quickly. 27 months is not a long build.
No, and for anyone that has, children, 27 months is just literally from now until birth. It's the terrible twos. So, it's very quick in time. What can we do at the moment? The casino is still operating, and it's going to continue operating, and Sean's Kitchen, Madame Hanoi, etc., is going to be operating all through that. But there are some things about getting to. Valet parking has become limited, and some of those things. How do people still be able to access the facilities over the next couple of years?
Yeah, I guess there's a variety of ways that you can. Obviously there's public transport. We've got the train station underneath us. There's a taxi rank out the front. There's the tram stop out the front. But then there's also good parking. Blythe Street's got a good car park, the Convention Centre, Adelaide Oval. When events aren't on at those places, there's plenty of parking. And then there's up at David Jones or also over on Hindley Street. So plenty of parking around us. Or there's obviously cabs and Ubers as well. Lots of reasons to come in, though. As I said before, with the advent of Station Lane, to continue on from good work of the laneways across the road from us, Sean's Kitchen will have an expanded offer, and we're also looking next door to Sean's Kitchen in the old entry, the old vestibule entry, at creating a pop-up bar which will change seasonally. So we just had an experiment with a chalet bar during winter, and that went quite well. So it's just turning into now a champagne bar for the Spring Carnival. With Verve Cloquet, and then from there, with the cricket coming just around the corner, it'll actually turn into an English pub for the summer, taking advantage of the Barmy Army being in town. And then we'll look at continuing different concepts as we go through the next couple of years.
That is a fabulous idea. That is absolutely theming it into a different activity, because it really gives you a reason to keep coming back and seeing something completely new, different menu, different drink style, etc. I think that's a great idea. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. We're really excited by it. And then next door to it is the Barossa Cafe, as it's currently called, and we're actually going to be revamping that as well to the Barossa Bar and Grill and having a proper tie back into the Barossa. It's only really been Barossa in name only up until this point, but with a different menu and different wine list and a real Barossa feel, I think that's something that will be much more appealing than what it has been previously, and certainly with an expanded outdoor into that laneway as well. I think that'll go very well for us. And then probably finally upstairs, we've got an American diner coming as well in October called Paddy Mac's. So in the old Junction Cafe, that's going to be gutted out, and all new fixtures, finishings, furniture, and a totally new concept there called Paddy Mac's. So watch out for that one as well.
And is that part of an American chain, or you're just theming it as an American style and doing it yourselves?
Yeah, just saw a niche to do it ourselves that way. So our marketing team is very creative, and they've come up with the idea. And no, apart from a bit of research on the internet, it's all our own ideas. So
you're talking about ribs and the corn hash and all of the very American style diner product that you can get because so many Australians now travel to the US, they have a taste for it too. So I think it'd be very popular.
Yes, absolutely, and some classic burgers as well.
Excellent. Luke, thank you so much for filling us in. We wish you all the best. The great thing is you're going to be creating 800 new jobs when it's completed, but as well, the 1,000 construction jobs, it's going to be a really buzzy area for the next couple of years in construction all along that precinct, but it's going to really transform south, that Adelaide and North Terrace area and the riverbank. And it's an exciting, and we're really delighted that you said yes to the job and are staying put and giving Adelaide Casino a revamp. Thank you very much for your time.
No problems at all. Anytime, Rocker. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That was Luke Walker, General Manager of the Adelaide Casino. Really an exciting project. Regardless of your thoughts, it is changing the face of that whole concept, and there's other reasons to go to the Adelaide Casino precinct, not just for gambling, but for great food and beverage options and a whole lot of other entertainment. We're going to be right back.